problem number 13. A double line to ground fault occurs on the lines B and C at point P in the circuit whose one line diagram is shown below. Find the subtransient current in phase B of machine 1. Neglect the pre-fault current. Assume that machine 2 is a synchronous motor operating at rated voltage. Both the machine ratings are given. Reactance is also given. Transformer ratings are given. And the reactances of the transmission line is also given. And it is given in the problem that all the reactances are calculated on a base of 1250 kVA 4.16 kV. Okay. So this is the given power system network. Machine 1, machine 2. Two transformers and we have a transmission line. The fault point is at P, which is on the HT side of the transformer T1. Okay. So with respect to the transformer, two transformers T1 and T2, we divide the transmission line into three sections. And since it is mentioned that section 2 ratings or the common base, we are taking the transmission line ratings as the common base from section 2. So MVAB is 1.25 MVA. Okay. 1.25 MVA, KVB is 4.16 kV. So with respect to the section 2 common base values, we calculate KVB of section 1 and KVB of section 3 using the transformation ratio of the transformers T1 and T2 respectively. So after finding out the base values in all the three sections, we find the sequence reactances of machine 1 and machine 2. So here machine 1 and machine 2 are rated the same. Okay. And we use the formula for finding the new value of reactance. So X1 positive sequence reactance equals negative sequence reactance is equal to old per unit value into MVAB new by MVAB old into KVB old by KVB new the whole square. So since the new and old values of MVA and KVB are the same, we are not finding any change in the new per unit value. Same way, X0 is also found to be J.04 per unit. Now coming to the sequence reactances of the transformers, both transformers T1 and T2 are of same ratings. So again, the transformers, all the three sequence reactances will be the same. So the value is J.05 per unit. So coming to the sequence reactances of the transmission line, there is no change in the reactances because transmission line ratings are taken as the common base. So now after calculating the new per unit values, we draw the positive sequence network. So this is machine 1 positive sequence reactance, E1 of machine 1, X1 of transformer 1, X1 of transmission line, X1 of transformer 2, X1 of machine 2. This is E2. Okay. And we represent the fault point. So after drawing the positive sequence network, we have to draw the Thevenin's equivalent positive sequence network. So for that we need VPF in series with Z1 equivalent. So how to find VPF? It is the Thevenin's voltage or the pre-fault voltage at the fault terminals. Okay. So here they had given neglect the pre-fault current. That means VPF should be taken as 1 at an angle 0 degree per unit. Okay, so consider VPF is equal to 1 at an angle 0 degree. So now to find Z1 equivalent, that is a Thevenin's equivalent impedance for the positive sequence network, short the two voltage sources E1 and E2. Okay, and to sum up both the reactances to the left hand side of point P and sum up the reactances onto the right hand side of the fault point P. So the equivalent circuit will still get simplified as shown in this diagram. Okay. So we have, with respect to the fault point P, we have two reactances in parallel. So Z1 equivalent we get as J.1 per unit. So now after finding VPF and Z1 equivalent, draw the Thevenin's equivalent positive sequence network as shown in this diagram. So now draw the negative sequence network. Okay. So negative sequence network will be similar to the positive sequence network except for removing the voltage sources. also check the values of the negative sequence reactances. Okay, so in this problem, the negative sequence reactances are equal to the positive sequence reactances for all the components. Okay, so after this, draw the Thevenin's equivalent negative sequence network. Okay, so it has only Z2 equivalent, which is J.1 per unit. Next, draw the zero sequence network. So zero sequence network, two things we should be careful about: the configuration of the transformer connection as well as the nature of the grounding of the star, okay, neutral. So if you consider the machine 1, it is solidly grounded and there is no neutral reactance. So we consider only X0 of machine 1. So coming to machine 2, it is star with neutral floating. It is ungrounded neutral. So we have to leave this open. Okay, so if there is no neutral, that means there is no path for the current to flow. Okay, so that's why we leave it as open. Now coming to the transformer 1, delta side series switch is open, shunt switch is closed. Star side, since it is neutral grounded, we close the series switch. This is the transmission line zero sequence reactance. And coming to transformer 2, star solid neutral grounded, we have series switch closed, and delta side series switch is open, shunt switch is closed. Okay, so after drawing the zero sequence network, draw the Thevenin's equivalent zero sequence network. So all the reactances after these open terminals are redundant because there is no current flow, no drop across the reactances, so they are considered to be redundant. So your Thevenin's equivalent zero sequence network will have J.05 on one side of the fault point and J.55 on the other side. Okay, so Z0 equivalent will be the parallel combination of J.05 and J.55. So Z0 equivalent is J.046. Now for the given type of fault, which is double line to ground fault, we connect all the three sequence networks, Thevenin's equivalent sequence networks, in parallel. Okay, Thevenin's equivalent positive sequence, Thevenin's equivalent negative sequence, Thevenin's equivalent zero sequence. Then we apply the formula IA1 is equal to VPF by Z1 plus Z2 Z0 by Z2 plus Z0. Substitute the values and we will get the answer as minus J 7.604 per unit. But the fault current is IA0. So we require IA0. Okay. So IA2 also we are going to find. The reason I will tell later. So IA2 is equal to minus IA1 Z0 by Z2 by Z0 using current division rule. Substitute the values, calculate, get it as J 2.4 per unit. In the same way, IA0 is equal to minus IA1 into Z2 by Z2 plus Z0. On substituting and calculating, we will get J 5.2 per unit. Okay. So in this problem, they didn't ask just to calculate the fault current at the fault point. Okay. So this is very, very important. They have not asked you to calculate the fault current. Okay. But they have asked to calculate the fault current in phase B of machine 1. Okay. But whether the fault is occurring at the machine 1 phase B terminals? No. Fault is occurring at the high tension side of the transformer T1. Okay. You are asked to calculate the sequence currents of phase B in machine 1. Okay. So we have to do some transformation over here. So that is the reason why we are finding all the three sequence components, IA1, IA2 and IA0. Okay. So now the next few steps is to calculate the subtransition current in phase B of machine 1. Okay. So for that we are taking IA0, IA1, IA2 which we have calculated in the previous steps. So IA0, IA1 and IA2 are the sequence components of the currents at the fault point P. Okay, so they are the sequence components of the current at the fault point P, which is at the high tension side of the transformer T1. So now we are going to transform this currents to the low tension side, that is delta side of the transformer, because the machine 1 terminals are connected to the low tension side, which is delta side of the transformer. Okay, so to find these currents at transformer 1 HT terminals, we apply current division rule to the three networks as follows. Okay, so now this is taken from this is the reduced equivalent reactance circuit of positive sequence network. Okay, J.15, J.3 on either sides of the fault point. So at the fault point, we have positive sequence current in the positive sequence network. We take it as IA1. Okay, so now what is there to the right hand side of the fault point? We have the transmission line, we have transformer 2 and we have machine 2. What do we have to the left hand side? The immediate left hand side of the fault point, we have the high tension side of transformer 1. Okay, so we denote the current which flows to the left hand side of the fault point as IAT1. Okay, so now we know IA1 and we denote IAT1. Okay, and we calculate IAT1 using this current division rule. So IAT1 is equal to IA1 into J.3 by J.3 plus J.15. So IAT1 is equal to the total current IA1 into opposite branch resistance reactance divided by total reactance in the network. So on substituting the corresponding values of IA1, we got IA1 T1 is equal to minus J5.07 per unit. In the same way, we are going to calculate IA2 T1. Okay. So consider the simplified reactance network of negative sequence. So fault point P, negative sequence network. So at fault point P, we have IA2 negative sequence current. To the left hand side of the fault point T, we have the transformer T1. So we denote the current as IA2 of transformer T1, IA2 T1. So by current division rule, we write IA2 T1 is equal to IA2 into opposite branch reactance by total reactance, which is J1.6 per unit. In the same way, come for the zero sequence network. Okay, so we denote it as IA naught of T1. Okay, so the zero sequence current which flows on the transformer high tension side of the transformer terminals, we got this J.477 per unit. Okay, so now remember IA naught, IA1, IA2 are the currents at the high tension side of the transformer which is star connected. Okay, so which is star connected. Now since the machine 1 is connected to the delta side, we are going to calculate the currents, or we are going to transform the currents from the star side to the delta side using the phase shift transformation technique what we have learned in third module. Okay, so we have derived some phase relations under the topic phase shift in star delta transformer bank. Okay, so those phase shift concept we are going to use here. I repeat, so whatever we have calculated, this IA not T1, IA1 T1, IA2 T1 are the currents at the high tension terminals, star side of the transformer T1. But in the problem, they have asked you to calculate the sequence currents at the machine 1 terminals. Okay, so machine 1 terminal is connected to the delta side. So we transform the star side currents to the delta side by using the phase shift concept. Okay, so now when you apply the phase shift concept, the positive sequence component on the star side leads the corresponding positive sequence component of current on the delta side by 90 degree. Okay, so since it is leading, we introduce the J operator while transforming the current from HT side star side to LT side delta side. In the same way, the negative sequence component on the star side lags behind the corresponding negative sequence component on the delta side by 90 degree, lags behind. So we should introduce minus J. So that is what I have written over here. Okay, so now final step we write sequence currents in machine 1 are IA1 M1 is equal to J into 90 degree leading, okay, 90 degree into IA-T1. Similarly, IA2 M1, sorry, this is M1 is equal to, since it is lagging, minus J, minus 90 degree into IA2 T1. So these equations are those equations which is going to shift or transform the current from the HT star side to LT delta side. Okay. So now we got the currents IA1 and IA2 on the machine 1 terminals. Okay. So now you know that machine 1 terminals is connected to the delta side. That means it is a 3-wire system. So also we have learned in the third module that for a 3-phase 3-wire system, the zero sequence component current IA0 is equal to 0. Okay, so we have derived one derivation, effect of neutral, in a 3-phase system. Okay, so under that 3-phase 3-wire system, we have proved that IA0 is equal to 0. Okay, so since the side is delta 3-wire system, we write IA0 M1 is equal to 0. Okay, so now these are the sequence components IA0, IA1, IA2. So now you have to calculate the subtransient current in phase B of machine 1. Okay, so we have IB is equal to, from the matrix equation, IB is equal to IA0 plus A square IA1 plus A IA2. Okay, current phasors in terms of symmetrical components. Now substitute for A square, IA1 M1, A, IA2 M1 and IA0, and we will get IB as 4.485 at an angle minus 138 degree per unit. So to convert this per unit into actual value, find out the base value of current and multiply by the per unit and base current. You will get the actual value of the subtransient current in phase B, which is IB M1.